In this video, we're going to explore Central African Republic. As always, we're going to look a bit of the population, and then we're going to dive right in how those people live. And after that, we're going to go more in depth in numbers. So the population is 5.5 million people and rising, as you can see. So now let's see how those people actually live. From my understanding, this country is pretty much one of those most violent countries in the world. And as you can see, they are pretty much a landlocked country. And I would dare to say not that much developed, because when I want to go in the street view, you're gonna see we don't have that much information. Is that actually that even want work? Let me give a refresh here. It's not a huge country, but still. Let me clean up a bit. Look at this. Pretty much nothing in a street view. Nothing. Nothing. Very little 360s, but we're gonna have a bit. So we're gonna go explore how those people actually live. Most likely it's gonna be by satellite images, so not that in detail as we would like to see at the ground level, but even that, it's still it's something, I would say. Yeah, those countries, well, it doesn't have that much to say about them. At least they try, I would say. But like I always say, that those are actually developed countries in the real sense of the world, that actually developing countries, so you can actually expect them to live, those people live pretty much like Western population used to live 250 years ago, something like that. I mean, look at this, it's just an absolute chaos here. Now it could be how do I say this, new establishment, I would say, and they kind of look at the West and they kind of try to copy it, but clearly they are a long way off of that. But hey, they have to start from somewhere, so I guess it's better than nothing. Here, as you can see from the satellite images from above, at least, we don't have 360s. Yeah, it doesn't look that welcoming, let's say. Probably from the ground level, gonna look even worse than this. I mean, I see some trees. The road from this image, it doesn't seem to be paved. So clearly a dirt road. When it's rain, you can imagine how bad it's gonna be to travel there. So I don't think it's gonna be, let's say, very economic develop. And God knows if you get hurt, I mean, like, you know, if you break your leg or something like that, or you need, I don't know, some special medical attention, I don't think you're gonna find it in this village. And definitely if you want to go outside to a main city or something like that, it's gonna be even tougher than that. Let me put the border again. Yeah, okay, let's go in another area. I mean, you can see those villages from above, as you can see. Just a bold spot, I would say. People came, they cut pretty much all of the trees. They have a few left between houses, as you can see, but I'm not sure exactly how much it's gonna they're gonna last. They have an airstrip here, which is pretty interesting, and you can see by the soil it's red, so clearly it's gonna be rich in iron and other metals. So yeah, Africa countries, especially these central ones, you can see here in this huge spot of green, usually they are very rich in resources. So yeah, I don't think they miss that that trend, let's say. But I'm not sure exactly how they're gonna be able to make something on those values, commodities by themselves. And usually they pretty much outsource the mine to, I don't know, even to the corrupt local or to Western powers, let's say, like that they came and take pretty much the good stuff. Now here you can see from above, again, I tend to say this is a pretty much new establishment. When I say new establishment, I mean like in the last 100 years, judging by how the streets, their layout. But again, look at this huge country and people just living, jamming together here. But I can see a lot of cars in some areas, so I'm not sure exactly how expensive it's a car here. But also I can say that I don't think that many people be able to buy one. So probably most of those cars are from work, let's say, like that. Now here you can see a bit more spread around, but not that much trees. The properties, I'm not sure exactly which one is which. No paved roads. I'm not sure even if they have like electricity. And if they have electricity, I'm not sure exactly how reliable that it is. Water, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how clean that is, but at least they have a river here, so at least they go there to take some water. But again, I don't think that's gonna be that clean, so probably a lot of disease from drinking dirty water, and even the food, I don't think it's gonna be that clean. Yeah, probably they're doing better when they used to live in a tribe, small tribes, but now they kind of jamming everyone together in those cities, towns, whatever. And I guess you have to start from somewhere. Like I say, it feels like 200 years ago in the Western world. Here, they have a long way to improve it, definitely. Here, there's some sort of the store. I'm not sure exactly if it's exactly from that point, which I highly doubt that because it's in the middle of nowhere. So I'm not sure exactly if it's this from country or someone else. What else? I think I see another 360 here, but again, I'm not sure exactly how reliable those are, but at least we have something. Yeah, here is pretty reliable, I would say. Yeah, it doesn't look that great. As you can see, the ground is rich in iron, but still no grass. At least not that much here. They have something. They have some palm trees here, which is looking pretty nice, actually. Construction, not so much. I mean, it feels like Germany after World War II. Can kind of give me that vibe. They have a, I think it's a banana tree. No, it's still a palm tree. Oh, this one, I think it's a banana tree. Yeah, I think it's a banana tree there. I mean, vegetation looks pretty nice. Not that nice widespread. You can see they have when the people are. You can see from above. Things usually go south. When they don't intervene that much, you can see a much more green, much better looking, much clean, I would say. Here they have an airstrip, as you can see. Probably they get supplies with those planes and moving people around. Here they have some sort of a, I don't think it's a residential area, at least. Clearly something for shipping. Definitely something like that. They have the town, let's call it not a city, close to the river. I mean, the layout of this town is not that bad, as you can see. They don't have paved roads, at least from the above. When those images were taken, they don't have clear property, I would say, which one is which. But probably, I don't know, they don't argue that much about. I mean, in the Western world, you're gonna see people that just pretty much shoot each other because someone else just moved the fence with a few centimeters on the other guy's property or something, or a tree. It's I don't know, it's shedding the leaf on someone else's backyard. Yeah, it's kind of crazy here. We are very, I don't know, pretty chaotic, let's say, when it comes about the properties. Here probably is not that much, they're not that important, but probably with time they're gonna have that too. I mean, they still have a lot of clear land, as you can see. Not sure exactly how they pay taxes on this one, on which one is which, but probably they don't pay that much or at all, so I don't think it's gonna be a huge problem here. But they have a lot of land available for building, for extending. As you can see, population, it's going up. I think we see that one. Yeah, we see it. I don't think it's always that bad. But in those, let's say, it's actually pretty good for developing countries. They have a long way to go, and yeah, it's not that easy, I would say, for them when they see on the internet, on the phone, how the other people are living, and they want to go there as fast as they can. And like I always say, you cannot skip civilization. You have to take it step by step, and that will gonna take a lot of times. Here it looks like some sort of a jail, but I don't think it's a jail. They have like pretty thick bars here. It's a pretty interesting building, but yeah, I'm not showing that interesting. But at least we have some image on the ground level. Now, nice banana tree. See, I think it's a banana tree again. I'm not sure exactly, but it looks like that. They have an interesting building here. When it's an apartment building, I'm not a big fan of that, but at least they have something. This building, it's central. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's very colorful. Let's call it like that. They have AC everywhere and bars on the windows everywhere. So, okay, not exactly a good sign, but it is what it is. This is from January 2025, so very recently. Judging by the cars. They're not that bad. I like they keep them in the shade. That's really good. I like that. Yeah, I think this is a palm. This is a... No, I don't think it's banana tree. It's way too big. At least I don't think so. Yeah, cars, they seems to be in a good shape at least. Here. I see some videos on the YouTube from African countries with some absolutely horrendous cars. But they're still working. So yeah, it is something. This guy is trying to sell some phone cases, I guess. I'm not sure exactly. See, they have their own business here. Not much, but at least they own their own business, I guess. Interesting building here, but not exactly spectacular, I would say. Garbage everywhere, which I don't like it. Look at this, absolutely horrendous. What else can we find here? I'm not sure exactly what this supposed to be. This fence here or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't see the point of that. Look at this garbage right in the middle of the entrance. Come on. I have to clean that up a bit. Yeah, it's not great, I have to say. And we don't have that many 360s, but the one that we have, at least make the most of that. Not sure exactly if they need 3 security guards here, but they have 3, at least 2 of them. They seem to have the same uniform. Not sure about this guy. What else can we find here? Let's go a bit further. Yeah. Another entrance here. All the parking lot, like all the cars are in the shade, which is pretty good, I would say. Yeah, not that many people on the street. I mean, they have something here, but not an insane amount. Pretty interesting. It's sad that we don't have more of those 360s, at least if not street views. They have some sort of a stadium here. Here they have paved roads. So clearly this is much more developed. You can call it a city by this time. Right here next to the river and the border. They have some sort of a forest here, I would say. They have the airport here, which seems to be pretty busy. But let's dive into how those people actually live. Yeah, look at this. Just no paved roads, 100% between those houses. They have the main ones, or maybe they are paved roads. I'm not sure. This one is paved, but this one I'm not sure exactly if it's that paved. But judging by how red this one I don't think it is paved. But the rest of them, probably it is. I'm not sure. But look how they live. Very jammed together. Not that many trees. Not that much vegetation. Things clearly cannot go well there. What else we have here? Here I have a bit more spread out, but not that much. I mean, I don't like it, to be honest with you. It just doesn't seem like a place you want to live. You want to, live long and prosper. I don't think it is the case here. It could be if they choose to have a different layout and spread the population even more in small towns. In this way, maybe they can start some sort of a competition between them, which one is doing better, but I highly doubt that. Like I say, even the West, I don't think, even here, we don't do that. I mean, even here, we try to put everyone jamming together in 1 or 2 towns, cities, and that would be like the economic hub. The rest of them, they are pretty much gonna get by how they can. Probably we're gonna move, like I say, the future is definitely in small communities, so at some point we're gonna move to that. If not this century, definitely the next one. They have some solar power farm here. So yeah, that would be interesting to see how the other country is gonna cope with that. We're gonna go for the new Western model in small communities, or they're gonna go in the civilization timeline, which they're gonna go with those big ones, big cities for I don't know, for a century or maybe 2, and then go back to the small communities when they have the technology and the resource to do so. So yeah, it was necessary to go in those absolutely horrendous place to live, call it cities. But we get to the end of that, so yeah, probably for the next generation it's gonna get much better. Now here again the same problem, everybody living jamming together, no paved streets. When I say no paved streets, yeah, in the summer when it's dry and pretty warm, it's pretty nice, but when you're gonna have some sort of a wet season and it's gonna rain quite a lot, it's gonna be an absolute chaos to go home on those dirt streets. Yeah, It's and not mention they clearly they're not gonna have some sort of a sewage. So yeah, it's gonna be even 10 times worse than that. The main road is paved, as you can see, pretty much some sort of a highway here with some crosswalking. I guess they are, I'm not sure, but at least they have that. If you live, I don't know, probably on the edge of the town, you can have a bit more freedom. I would say have that much more vegetation here, but I would assume like the population is going up. Those they're gonna spread out even more and more with every year. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna last that much. What else we have here? Pretty much the same picture wherever we go. People jamming together. No paved streets. I mean, how you will do this evolution if there will be in their place? You need the towns, you need the cities, fine. You need as much people in them, fine. But then if you put them everyone in the same city, you have to pave the roads. You have to secure food and water, clean water, reliable energy, and not to mention education, low crime rate, and job opportunities definitely if you want to develop. So yeah, those is gonna come with time, but not with such a rapid expansion of the population. I think that's the main problem in those countries, at least from my perspective. The population going up way too fast, and it's not gonna cope with the. They're not gonna keep pace with the economic, with the security of the country, with the resource, with the way of life, and all that stuff. So yeah, they make pretty much they came from like thousands and thousands of years living in small villages, small communities, in clans or whatever, and now everybody just jamming everybody together in those towns, cities, and like I said, I don't think it's gonna end well. That's why probably you have those high crime rates. I mean, I believe even back, like I say, 1,000 years ago, you still have small villages there. They attacking each other. Now you just put everyone together in the same village. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna end up that well. But we're gonna see in the future how well they're gonna do. I'm not sure if they have some sort of a natural disaster here besides floods. Probably they have that. I don't think they have fires. I don't think they have earthquakes. They clearly don't have tsunamis or things like that. No tornadoes, no hurricanes. So yeah, they probably the only worry that they have is floods and make crime rate, make such a huge problem, I guess, with crime rate, clean water, clean food, and the rest of them is like job and education, which is gonna take a lot of time to pull this off. But yeah, even though I have to say, I always go, like I say, in those random places. I'm not going to the best one. I'm not going to the worst one. It's just randomly on the map as always. Overall, I think they look still better than South Africa. I mean, what we see in South Africa, although they have street views there, here we don't have, so we can actually judge them one by one. But even from above, I think they still look a bit better than what we saw in, where was that? In Johannesburg, I think. And it didn't look that well, or Cape Town, both of them. Probably Cape Town was worst. They kind of look horrific there, but even here, like I say, from above, it doesn't look that great either. But that image of South Africa kind of stick with me, how those people actually live, and yeah, population still go up. I mean, it's still go up. It's a huge population there already. It just doesn't even make sense for them even to stay stable. But here is going up, so yeah, I don't think we have to check that much here. We cannot see what was to see. Yeah, clearly not that many 360s, definitely no street views. So yeah, it's not a pleasant country probably to make the pictures and street views. But now let's dive into numbers. Let's see how actually they are. So population 5.5 million, you can see growing. So look at this. Back in 1955, only 1.6 million people living in this land, with growing rate around 1.6%. That'll be roughly around 25,000 people with zero migrants, which I highly doubt that. Median age around 20 years old, very young. Fertility rate 6, and urban population around 15%. And now watch this. Fast forward to 2025, population is 5.5 million people, so they just add another 4 million people with a growing rate about 3.5%. Now, from a higher population, they have even a higher growing rate. Yearly change is going to be around 180,000 people. Migration is going to be on minus around 15,000. Look at this, median age, less than 15 years old. So they got even younger. Fertility rate is pretty much the same, 5.8. Used to be 5.9. Now it's 5.8. That didn't change, which is kind of strange. And urban population around 44% now. But watch this. This is forecast, obviously. By 2050, population is going to be around 10 million people with a growing rate. Look at this, 2.1. So they're going down in that. But yearly change is going to be even high, 210,000 people per year. Migration pretty much similar, around minus 15,000 people. Median age, they go back pretty much how it used to be 1955, around 20 years old. Fertility rate now is going down to around 3.3. And look at this, urban population 50%, not that much of increase. And they already surpassed half the population living in a city, so probably those numbers gonna go down even faster. Life expectancy here, it's pretty low as you can expect. It's 58 years old for both sexes, 60 for females, 55 for males. I mean, 55 is not that bad, but I would like to see like 60. I always support, like, from what we have in this world, even in the Western world, 60 should be the age to go. You still have a lot of control, let's say, on your body, on your mind. Maybe 65 if you have a really good life. I mean, like, you're rich as rich, not living in a poverty. 65 you can push that, but anything above that, you already start losing your sanity a bit by bit every year. You're not gonna feel that strong. You're not gonna be able to do what you're supposed to do, what you used to do, at least at 30, even at 40. So yeah, I think this nonsense with pushing the life expectancy as much as possible is the same nonsense with pushing the GDP as high as possible, just because for the sake of growth. Yeah, I don't think even this one with the life expectancy. I mean, if you make some, I don't know, formula or whatever, some pills, some whatever you develop to remain young and strong and sharp as used to be at 30, and now you are the same at 70, then yeah, I can see that pushing forward for the life expectancy. But if you don't have that, it doesn't feel, it feels like just numbers to me. It's just going as high, like you see here, life expectancy is 80, pretty soon it's going to be 90. Who knows, by the end of the century it's going to be 100. But if you already start losing your mind around the 70 years old and your strength, your power, it just doesn't make sense to me to live that long, especially the last 30 years from, let's say, 60 to 90. It's going to be not a hell, but pretty much close to that. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, we should encourage life quality, not life longevity, in my opinion, but that's just me. Infant mortality rate is around 66 infants per 100,000 birth, and death under the age of 5 is 92. That's pretty high. But you can see they're going down, so that's pretty good. They're going down, and we're gonna see probably in the next 50 years much better results. Now, demographic, you can see the pyramid here. They have some male surplus population by the age of 26, and they go in the female surplus. Then, strangely enough, a bit of the male surplus, and then go in the female surplus. Pretty interesting, but it's pretty balanced, I would say. Not something to worry about. The only thing that I worry about is that population going up way too fast. I mean, look at this, it's 5.5 million people, and by 2050 it's gonna be 10.6. So they're just almost doubling the population again in the next 25 years. That's the worry that I have. Economic wise, well, let's see how they're doing. GDP, again, I'm not a fan of those numbers, but at least you have something to compare with other countries. And the main one like to see is like this one, when you go actually on the street level and see how those people live. Unfortunately, here we didn't have that much information, but judging from what we see from above, we can make an idea how things are going there. So GDP, it's 2.9 billion US dollars in 2025 nominal, and PPP around 7.3 billion US dollars. Growing rate was 0.7%, 1.8, 2.9, 3.1. So they're going up, but for such a small economy, still very, very low numbers. Per capita nominal, it's around 531 US dollars per person per year, which is pretty bad. And PPP around $1,330, still extremely, extremely bad, but I guess it is what it is. You always see this. I mean, even in the Western Europe, you're gonna see pushing for the protect the farmers, protect the land for farming and stuff like that. But you can see, I mean, it's from what I saw so far, countries that they have a hierarchical culture, Like here it's like 43%. They seems to be poor countries. And I have to be honest with you, I kind of wait for technology that we're gonna grow our meat in labs and gonna be more nutritious and better than we have already. And pretty much it's gonna be real meat, not this plant-based or whatever bullshit they try to sell us. So actually real meat, but in a best scenario possible. And we're gonna clear up so much land from that we're using from agriculture. That would be like a really advancement, and you're not gonna depend on the weather. You're not gonna depend some sort of disease that's gonna go in your farm, and pretty much you have to kill half of your animals or even all of them. So yeah, I think that's a really step forward, engineering our food in a best way possible, not the one that we have today. That would be something to look forward, and that's why probably we're gonna see moving that funding from the farmers to the more, let's say, this medicine food, or whatever you want to call it, artificial food, you can call it even lab food, whatever. That I think it's a bet is worth it, but at the same time, you have to come up with a system that's gonna support those people that used to farm, not their farms anymore, but at least I'm not a big fan of those social measures, but at least create some something like very well paid jobs for people that don't have, let's say, degrees in anything, and make the gap between those people who just have just high school diploma and even less than that, and those who have like college education, master degrees, PhDs and all of that, PhDs and all of that. The difference in the salary should be pretty much zero. And those people who wants to go in a college to learn something, do something even better, and push the civilization forward, they should do it for the passion and the motivation to do so, to push the civilization forward, not for the money. That's why I think it's gonna be a really good thing that if you just equalize the salaries in those industries, and making good salaries for everyone, not just for a few. So yeah, here it's agriculture is 42%, industry 16%, and services 40%. 2017 estimates, so yeah, maybe they got a bit different numbers by now. Inflation in 2020 was 2.6, yeah, not that much. Population below poverty line is 62%, yeah, it's pretty bad, I would say. And those numbers like human development is like extremely low. Unemployment rate in 2019 was 6.5, not so bad, but again, it was before pandemic, probably got around 10%, who knows. And now probably it's the same 6.55%, which is not exactly that bad. We have European countries that do worse than that, but yeah, we're gonna see where they're gonna land by the middle of the century, and more interesting by the end of the century. That would be much more interesting. Now, corruption here, ooh, it's pretty much at home, let's say. Let's see what score they have. I have a feeling not that much, but let's see. Central African Republic, 24 points, and they stay stable. Okay, 24 points. Clearly, they are perceived as more corrupt country. As you can see, 24, it's around here. Yeah, perceived as more corrupt countries. They are. I mean, look at these African countries. They are pretty much anything from outside the West, I would say, with a few exceptions, obviously, but not that much developed economies. Things are pretty bad. Even in the West, I think the West is supposed to be in a blue. Every single country is supposed to be in a blue. Even USA, surprisingly enough, is not. South Korea, it's not. Most of the Europe is not. So that's really a huge problem. That should be the main priority of those governments: reduce the corruption and fight the corruption. Make, like I say, some institution specialized for fighting corruption forever, because that will gonna take a long time to fix it. Official language here, it's French, I would say, so clearly it was a French colony at some point, and Sango, probably the local language. Interesting flag, I would say. I kind of like it. It looks very colorful. It's something, I have to say. So yeah, I take this photo. I found this photo on the internet. I think it's so nice. It looks such an old vibe of them. It like feels like the photographer take those photos on a film, not with a digital camera, but it looks very nice. Something like you see in those old atlas from early 2000. It's nice. I like this picture. I just kind of speak to it. It's when I googled Central Republic of Africa, but Central African Republic, but I don't think it's 100% from there, but it looks like that. So probably they have something like this, but I like the picture, so that's why I keep it. So yeah, that's Central African Republic. Not that much to see there, unfortunately. You don't have 360 or street views. Even from the satellite images, not that great, but I didn't expect to be that great, so I don't get disappointed. Not so far away from, you can see it on the desert, but it's pretty much all the country. It's in a green, which is pretty good. A few parts here, very, very small here, but you can see even here, it's not exactly a desert. So yeah, they still have like a lake, a river, something like that. They don't go in a immediately look at this in a desert as they do here. It's just boom, right there. Yeah, pretty far away from civilization, and like I said, those all pretty much African countries, especially in the center and South Africa, even those sub-Saharan, all of them, even in Northern Africa, I think they're around 200 years backwards, let's say. 200 years ago, that when the West supposed to be, used to be. So yeah, it's kind of sad. It's kind of hard, I guess, for in any country to see, because now we have the internet and phones, and you can see how the other half, how the other population is pretty much like 10%, not the other half. And even from that 10%, you have like 1% that actually living pretty good. The rest of them, even in Europe, you're gonna see not that many people living the best life, but it's definitely better than they have here. Yeah, I mean, you just have to wait. I mean, like civilization, it's not something that you're gonna skip. You're not something you're gonna cut corners. You have to go through it. It is what it is, and probably it's gonna be a bit easier for them, I would say, with time, with technologies. But we will see. So yeah, that was the Central African Republic. Check the other video that I make, and we're gonna see you next time.